Hey, everybody. Listen, welcome in the building. I started a little early today because we have a lot to talk about with trending topics. Listen, I think this Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf, may he rest in peace. I think, unfortunately, this story is going to be a story for a while. It has really split America. It has everybody talking. It has everybody weighing in on right, wrong, who belong where, who don't belong here, who was right, who was wrong. Let the Diva be clear. So see, I think some people, they struggle with saying something because they're afraid of who they're going to offend, and they want to be careful not to offend either side. And I get that. But my thing is, if you can't say something and be clear, in my opinion, you should just be quiet. Let me be clear about tonight's trending topic, and the title is called It's Bad. It's bad because this judge put a gag order on everybody so nobody could talk before the trial. And I get that, right? But I also think that just as much as they want to paint a picture about Karmelo, they wanted to lower the temperature about the other side. And I get it, because you was treading in thin water, so to speak, because Austin Metcalf is no longer alive. You know, when I was growing up, they always said you don't speak ill upon the dead. And I think that many people in certain situations, they tread lightly because they're being sensitive, and rightfully so, to the dead. And I get that. But Jeff Metcalf, Austin Metcalf's dad, he unleashed a fury on TikTok Live. And he keeps saying out of his mouth that this ain't about race. But when you call somebody a watermelon felon, then how are you saying it's not about race? Is this saying that goes, don't pee on me and then tell me it's raining? You had in your conversation a ton of racist speech and thought, but then on the flip side, you want to say it ain't about race. When the father did his interview with the news, he talked about forgiveness. He talked about how he felt sorry for Karmelo Anthony. But then when he went on his live, it was a whole different side of him. And let me be clear to y'all, very clear. I would pass out. I have one child, even if I had 10. If one day I kissed my son goodbye and he was just going to a movie, a game, a concert, whatever, and then the next thing I heard is that somebody stabbed him and he died, I would be devastated. But you can't say let's have peace when we keep putting out non-peace messages in the atmosphere. We're going to get nowhere fast. And I want to also be clear on this, but this is not going to be the topic tonight. We could perhaps talk about this another night. I want to be clear on this. I do have some questions for Karmelo Anthony's family. You know, I appreciate there's many people coming together trying to help him, because no matter what, 35 years is beyond excessive. In my opinion, sent me something today. I think it was about 3 or 4 other teens in Texas, similar crimes, and they all got nowhere near 35 years. So, but my questions to Karmelo Anthony family is, where's the, yes, he does, Jenna. He had anger and entitlement issues in that tent. Jenna, I don't know how you have entitlement issues under a tent that belongs to no one. How do you have anger and entitlement issues under a tent? And I will say this, Jenna, none of us was there. But it's funny to me how so many people are definitive on exactly what happened under that tent, and none of us was there. So Karmelo looks dead in the eyes now because he's a teenager, and this is a devastating situation. But he had anger and entitlement issues. What entitlement issues do you have under a tent at a sports event? And so the people that are kicking you out, they have no entitlement issues? I'm sorry, I got distracted. Let me continue. So this is a really sad situation that is going worse. Yeah, I don't know. I just, I do have questions. Because for $630,000, you should have had a better a legal team on your son's side. For $630,000, I'm not sure why he's filing this appeal and needs a court-appointed attorney. But I also want to know this. Not that they have to pick a side, but I want to know where are all the pastors at? Why is no one speaking? Where are all the leaders of the community at? Why haven't they got up on these internet, this social media, and why haven't they spoken yet? Where are they? It wasn't about race. He was told he wanted to forgive, but it was rejected by the Anthonys and the Black activists. He has every right to be angry and lash out, especially the fact that that they showed. Jenna, I don't need nobody to tell me that I could forgive or not forgive. He has a right to be angry and upset because, yes, his son is no longer here. But I don't need nobody to come tell me to forgive or not forgive. I'm going to forgive anyway and let them live in their anger and whatever else they got going on. So you don't have to wait for them to tell you. You got, just like you got up on your TikTok and you said watermelon felon and slavery and everything else, you could have got up on that TikTok and said about forgiveness there. So Jenna, if you want to talk to me, click the link. Click the link. Because I have a civil conversation with you. But click the link. You know, one thing about me, I pride myself. I know how to see through the smoke and have a conversation. Unfortunately, because the world is built on violence, he's not the first or the last parent that is going to have to mourn burying their child. And I'm telling you right here, right now, that my heart breaks for him. And I mean that with everything I love. My heart breaks for him. I would not be good if I had to bury my child. But at the same time, if you say two wrongs don't make a right, they said, what was their word? A shove doesn't disturb you don't combat a shove with a stab. Well, you don't combat hate with hate. And he's feeling hate. But if you want to talk to me, Jenna, click the link because I'm ready. You can't say that, oh, it's justified that he is angry and can say whatever, but then you want to say Karmelo Anthony is the devil because he used a knife and all he got was a shove. If all you getting is hate from the other side, how are you justified coming back with hate? Jenna, click the link. Talk to me. Well, let me go and finish up here. The title tonight is called It's Bad. And remember here, you catch the train, don't catch feelings. Tonight's title called It's Bad. The teen athlete got a lawsuit, a wrestler with the transgender wrestler, and this transgender wrestler put her fingers in her opponent's private area during a match. Now she's suing. We got to have conversations, people. We got a traffic stop. And an 18-year-old is now gone by the hands of a cop. It's bad. Then we got a lemonade stand robbery. When you robbing little kids who's outside just trying to get a couple dollars by selling some lemonade, it's bad. It's bad. Yeah, people need to teach their children to keep their hands to themselves. But how is that going to happen? I'm going to tell y'all right now, I've been saying this and I'm going to keep saying it. I don't know too many, sports events where they're not toxic. We're built on toxicity. We're built on toxicity. So how you going to have all of these sports events, the Little League, the Pee Wee League, the parents are up in the coach's face, the rep face, and then you want to expect your kids later on to handle things in a nonviolent way. We have got to be dumb, stupid, or both if we think that's going to happen. And we got 4 stories tonight, so hang in there. We're going to talk about this Jeff Metcalf and his whole rant on TikTok. You know what's funny too? This TikTok, YouTube, if you say the N-word, you say the pow, you say this, they ready to shut you down. But you can sit up and call people all kind of racist names and we good to go. It's the BS. So, let me go ahead. Y'all know what I need in the chat. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Friday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. Trending topics, sometimes it get heavy. It's going to be an adult conversation. And if you want to talk to me, don't just go off in the chat. Click the link. I got room on this platform. So let me bring the people on in the building. Hey, my opinion. Hey, Julius.
Hi, Diva. Hi, chat. Choo-choo.
Hey, y'all. So what Diva means by click the link, y'all, if you guys want to come up on the panel and speak with us, that's what we mean by click the link. And the link is pinned right at the top of the chat.
Thank you, Julius. Yes, Jenna, I'm welcoming you on the platform because I'm welcoming you because there's always another side to the story, and I'm always willing to listen and hear it. But what I'm not going to hear is a fact of what happened under the tent unless I have some people that was under the tent. Everybody's 10 toes down what Karmelo Anthony did under that 10, but I need to hear it from people that was under the 10 and willing to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help them God. But come up. There's the link is pinned to the top. I'm willing to speak with you, Jenna. So listen, people, we're going to go ahead and get started. I appreciate you, Julius. Thank you for the explanation. We're going to get started with this Austin Metcalf's dad. Let's see if my screen will come up. So Austin Metcalf's dad reveals racist nickname for Karmelo Anthony, watermelon felon. And so you claim, as I stated, that this is not a racist situation, that we the one bringing, we meaning the black people are bringing race into the situation, but you call him a watermelon felon. Let's listen.
Not easy. God doesn't say that. God says there's going to be trials. Life is not easy. God doesn't say that. God says there's going to be trials and tribulations. God says there's going to be people out there who will deceive you. People out there, I mean, if we want to go back Old Testament, eye for an eye, Sodom and Gomorrah, turn to stone, man lays with a man, you die. I mean, this is all your personal choices. It's none of my business. I stay in my lane. Just don't come in my lane with your. I respect everyone until they disrespect me.
So notice he said, just don't come in my lane with your BS. Know what happened under that tent? Don't come in our tent. Don't come in our tent. It starts at home.
I've been disrespected by so many people, so many times while I've had to sit here and take it. I'm going to tell you right now, Charleston White, you think you're funny? We'll see who's laughing. Drew Anthony, you're a and a coward, and you raised one. Kayla, you drunk. What'd you do to that boy to make him stab somebody? My God, what kind of mother are you? Hey, Kevin Hayes, you fucking liar. Day after it happened. How many lies did you sit and type up on your keyboard, you big keyboard warrior? You a big tough man. You still live in Baton Rouge? Remember you said you'd come to Frisco, buddy? You're supposed to find me. I told you we could sit down and talk. That's all you do. Talk, Mr. Squeaky Clean. You're the only one in your family without a damn record. I guess that's something to brag about in your culture. You people hang your hat on the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Let me make one up. Y'all can let me make something racist up so y'all can go viral. I got a new name for Mello, okay? Because he was such this little boy y'all were trying to portray. How about watermelon felon? How's that one strike you? I hope he enjoyed his first night in that cell last night, because he's going to have many nights to think about what the he did. I forgave him so I don't carry the hate and the anger. So I don't get ate up like cancer and kills you from the inside. It's like me drinking poison and hoping it kills you. It doesn't work that way. You gotta let that stuff go or it will kill you. It will eat you up inside. So when people ask me, how can you forgive him? If I didn't, I would have wound up killing him and going to prison myself. That's how stupid people, when you get irrational, because you can't make a good decision if you're emotional. Emotion and intellect do not mix. If you're emotional, you can't come up with a logical solution.
Hold on one second, guys. Austin Metcalf's father is using a racial stereotype to coin a shocking new nickname for his son's murderer, referring to Karmelo Anthony as a watermelon felon in a hate-filled clip. and Jeff Metcalf appeared on Sarah Phil's Jinx Sit podcast, where he ripped a number of key figures in Karmelo's murder trial. It was his first opportunity to speak out after a Texas judge lifted the gag order. He also, KJ, I don't know if you want your camera on or off. I'm getting ready to pull you up. There you go. Okay. After the sentencing, Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff Metcalf, went live on TikTok and was caught on a racist rant about Karmelo Anthony, including calling him a watermelon felon, saying Black people get all this free S. We give, I'm sorry, guys. Hold on one second. Let me click out of it. The gag order was lifted, and the mask came off with after sentencing. Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff Metcalf, went live on TikTok and was caught on a racist rant about Karmelo Anthony, including calling him watermelon felon, saying Black people get all this free stuff. We were grifters. Grifters ago, someone sold you to us, and attacking Black fathers for not being involved in their children's lives. This is the same man who stood in the courtroom and said this was never about race. The prosecution struck every qualified Black juror from the panel. A gag order silenced public response for nearly a year. And at the moment the muzzle came off, this is who he showed us who he was. Karmelo Anthony did not get a fair trial, and now the victim's own father has confirmed in his own words what community has known from the beginning. I'm not going to play this whole rant because it's very, if you didn't see it, it's more to it. He also said, that his Karmelo Anthony parents were cowards because they were not in the courtroom for his sentencing. They left the courtroom. It was a lot and very emotional. Let me just click out of that. Jeff said he wanted to make something racist up so y'all can go viral, and then revealed his new nickname for Karmelo, watermelon felon, grinning at the camera after throwing out the racist term. Next, Austin father then claims he forgiven Karmelo, though it's difficult to say how genuine that is given his vitriol statement moments before. During his long tirade, Jeff also said Black people in America play the victim by bringing up oppression, and called out one Karmelo supporter saying, "You're the only one in your family without a darn record. I guess that's something to brag about in your culture." Some viewers of the podcast claims Jeff showing his true colors here, believing a 3-hour conversation proves the case actually was about race, despite Jeff claiming the opposite in court during his victim impact statement. As you know, a jury found Karmelo guilty of murder earlier this week and sentenced him to 35 years in prison. Karmelo family insists he wasn't looking for a fight and only acted in self-defense during the fateful April 2025 track meet where he fatally stabbed Austin. I'm gonna stop there.
OG 5150. We don't do no cursing over here. Please keep it clean in the chat, or you can leave the chat. And we don't do no racism over here either. Keep it clean, please.
Yeah, or you could just block them. I don't need a subscriber that bad.
I got you.
Yeah, because you know what? At the end of the day, when who's supposed to be subscribed to me and how I'm supposed to work here is always going to happen. So if they get that nasty, they don't know how to chat as an adult, you can block them, period. In my opinion.
This rant that went on for hours, and I do mean hours, it's so loaded because you could feel the hate coming off of him. You could feel the anger coming off of him. And let me tell you, I'm a mama of 5 boys and 1 girl. And no parent wants to bury their children. But some things they learn at home. And the way he was talking about how he raised those boys, I could tell you, he raised them to be hellions in the street. I don't for the life of me understand where we gonna go with this and how bad it's gonna get before. I'm I refuse to go back and forth with somebody who speaks ignorantly like this. To hear the stuff that he said was derogatory. It was belittling. Saying that all women got baby daddies and on food stamps. He's repeating the same stuff that we hear these politicians repeat. That they think that's all we is. And we've showed them over and over again how educated we are. But to them, this is all they're gonna ever see. So while we know he didn't get a fair trial, I challenge everybody not to take this to heart, not to get enraged with him, not to fight back the way he's fighting back. Because this is what ignorance does. Ignorance spews hate. And we can't be a part of that right now. We just got to make sure that this baby gets a fair appeal and retrial. And hopefully our justice system changes. So the next black person won't go through the same situation. Because I saw four other boys that were not as brown as us. And all of them got under 10 years for the same crime.
Mm. Julius, your thoughts?
So I gotta say, he told on himself when he started quoting Leviticus and everything else, saying a man shouldn't lay with a man and everything else, even though that wasn't the original text. But he'll that same type of man that he's showing he is will be in someone like me's inbox asking what's good. Pure hateful. So I wasn't surprised. And usually I wouldn't catch on to the game. They know how to use these sayings to make us come out of character, to make us like wanna
To
um
try, to try.
right, to make us wanna like spaz out to prove the angry black narrative and everything else. But no, we have common sense. We have intelligence. And me spiritually, I have a strong discernment and I worship an almighty God that lets me know, ignore that false prophet. I got that. And so I say to anybody tonight, what we're seeing is how the word talks about, I'm going to use his example and use it in my commentary. Beware of false prophets. This man is a false prophet. Look at so much of the hatred and the missowing that he installed in his two boys. And unfortunately, one of them is no longer with us today. And so we have if he talks about accountability, what he is refusing to do, he is refusing to look in the mirror because he planted these seeds in his two boys and now it is a stain on his parenting that his son is no longer here. That's it.
K and J, your thoughts?
Hi, Diva, Channel, and Pat, Chat. You know, it was only going to be a short while before he showed his true colors. It the disheartening part for me, because I'm a mother of a black teenage son here in Chicago, and when I think about this story, like I do wish Carmelo had a made a different decision. I do. I also wasn't totally against, some punishment for him. Now, I think 35 years, as we've all said, is very excessive, and the justice system is unfair to our black and brown boys. Um, but it's funny how they are treating um, Metcalf as though he was an angel. I mean, the fact of the matter is he was bullying. And I've watched tons of videos, saw tons of posts, and they do not want to associate the word bullying behavior with him. They are painting him as some angel. Him and his brothers were, doing some angelic act. They were securing the tent as if they were some sort of authority figures. And, I read where someone said just because the outcome was bad does not excuse the bad behavior that triggered this all. And I agree with that. That he was not an innocent angel victim. He was in the act of bullying. And I think we all agree that we wish he was still alive and we wish Karmelo had chose a different action. But that's why I wanted to hear from Karmelo. And I also have to say, I know his parents are in a difficult situation, but I don't know what they were thinking. Why wasn't Karmelo allowed to testify? Because we needed the jury to hear from him how he felt. What made him feel like that was the option? He didn't wake up evil that morning. He didn't wake up with evil intentions to go unalive somebody. Something in that situation made him feel that that was his option. And we needed that jury to hear from him. Maybe he had been bullied before and it was a trigger. We should have had psychologists up there on that stand talking about the impact of bullying. We needed to hear from him if he's experienced that before and if this triggered him. I don't know. Like we've all said, I've listened and I love your show, Diva, and I love the panel. We know that it was a setup. And we know that the lawyer and the judge and the prosecutor were all in cahoots because there is no way in heck Karmelo and psychologists shouldn't have been up on that stand telling his side of his story. So I'll leave with, yeah, I think the father is just showing his true colors. We now know where the boys got their bullying and hatred from. It came right from their father. And I'm gonna agree with what I read earlier today. Just because the outcome was bad, it does not excuse the accountability from that boy being a bully, Metcalf. Thanks, Diva.
Thank you. Michelle, mute your line so I can bring you up and turn down everything in your background. Just mute your line. I don't know why I can't mute it. StreamYard is acting up for me, but just mute your line and I'll bring you up. So I won't hear the noise in the background. I understand why he didn't get on that stand. This whole thing was a setup and they railroaded him. Getting on the stand wouldn't have saved him. Now, do I agree they should have had psychiatrists there? His whole defense should have been better, period. I'm trying to cut these parents a break for 2.2 seconds. I want to discuss tomorrow's trending topics about this money. I heard their interview and I heard them speak, but his defense should have been better. That side should have been 2, 3, 4 lawyers deep. There should have been more people in the streets on purpose because you heard the judge speak himself. On purpose, he's proud of himself that nobody was in the courtroom. He didn't have anybody in that courtroom because he didn't want people to be out after every day of that trial reporting the shenanigans and the railroading that was going on. He watched the Diddy trial. He knew. He wasn't going to have a blogger in there. He wasn't going to have a lot of people in there. This whole thing was a setup. If you say people are going to get a fair trial, let them get a fair trial. The moment my kid, and they would have had a jury for my kid, and there was no black person up there, I would have been in the streets kicking up sand. And I would have been in that lawyer's face. How you gonna let a jury get up there and they struck every black juror and you sitting there, you ain't doing nothing, saying nothing, and we close out with a jury and nobody looks like my son? And you know, everybody's saying appeals. Appeals are far and few in between. They rarely go well. in the court system that railroaded you has to decide whether or not they're going to give you an appeal. And I do have a problem that the parents wasn't in there for to hear that 35-year sentence. This is a goddamn mess. But don't get me started. Katrina, your thoughts? If you're talking, Katrina, I can't hear you. Does anybody hear Katrina?
No.
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 Okay. Savannah, you're up.
I couldn't make it to watch the complete video. I wasn't surprised, but it was absolutely disturbing and disgusting. But it explained a lot to me of why his sons walked into that tent thinking that they had every right and were justified in approaching Karmelo and telling him he didn't belong in that tent. Whether it was the rival team, not rival team, whatever, they felt that here they were a group of young Caucasian boys approaching a young African American male and telling him that he did not belong and that he needed to get out. I was disgusted because yesterday we had a judge with his smug look and his smirkiness and defending his position of why he ran the courtroom and that trial the way that he ran it. Saying he was justified in the makeup of the jury, not allowing the defense to bring in key witnesses, although I think the defense did a poor job of representing Karmelo. There should have been psychiatrists, witnesses, teachers, coaches. There should have been a line of witnesses on that stand coming through that courtroom and testifying. No one is saying that he should not have some form of punishment because what he did was wrong. And at the end of the day, there is a young man that is no longer here. However, this was excessive. It was, and the word railroaded is appropriate. I hate the word lynching, but it is appropriate. We're talking about a town in Texas that is predominantly Republican. The dynamic of that is almost 43% Caucasian population and less than 10% African American and Latino in that community. I will not be surprised if I don't see him making all the political rounds on Joe Rogan, on all the podcasts, and if he doesn't even come to the next State of the Union and be at 47 side. With that being said, I am upset with the parents for not doing. I don't think they did right by their son. And I used the gauge of Ahmaud Arbery's mom, who stood in front of that courtroom, continued to be in the DA's face every day. I watched that trial. I had the transcripts because that's the community where my kids were raised. I know that community very well. I know the good old boy system that exists there to this day in Southern Georgia. And that mother and those two defendants were police. Well, the father was a police officer and had a reputation in that community and was protected by the good old boy system. If y'all remember the case, him and the DA were friends, and she dismissed it in the beginning. And the mother said, "No, my son is no longer here." And she made sure that those two individuals that powed her son for going on a jog through a neighborhood, she made sure that they got their day in court, and her son, his story wasn't one that was just brushed away like the DA's office initially wanted to do. So These parents failed Carmelo. I'm sorry. They should have been in the courtroom. They should have been on our social media every day on the ABC, CBS, NBC daily from the moment that this thing happened. There should have been church leaders, Ben Crumb, all of them should have been there, and no one was there. So I'm not sure why this story didn't get the attention that it did. My heart breaks for this young man because he's going to have it hard in a state where the population in the prison system is heavy Aryan nation, and there's going to be a day where he's not going to be protected, and it's scary to think what might happen to him. So this is one of those stories that it all sides we all lose, and it's just infuriating that this young man is not being protected by no one.
It is infuriating. And you better believe if my kid is about to get sentenced, before they take it away, you're going to be able to turn around and see my face. I got questions for the parents. Wayne, your thoughts?
Diva, I have somewhat a little different perspective. I understand where this rant came from, and I certainly don't need to hear more of it to know what the rest of it is. See, this story was supposed to go a little different. This story was supposed to go, yeah, Dad, this little black kid, he tried to do this, and we beat him down. We kicked this, blah, blah, blah. That's the way that was supposed to go. But it didn't. And now they want to make the bullies like, oh, I'm sure he would give you the shirt off his back. He was this. He was all that, blah, 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 blah. And I know they try to say a shove doesn't deserve, a punk, whatever. Well, then keep your hands off of people. A man down here got pow-powed in the theater because he threw some popcorn on somebody. It was the ex-cop. Pow-pows weren't even allowed in the theater, and he threw it on there. So this, to me, and this is just my opinion, he's upset because his son didn't come to Victor. With that kind of rant like that, I can imagine all the years his son's been exposed to all that. And I can imagine all the racist torture they did to black folks. I don't know that for a fact, but with that kind of mouth on him, I only can believe that he didn't put it in his children. And it came out that day. I'm done.
Michelle, your thoughts?
She's muted.
You're on mute. You're on mute, babe. You're on mute. Uh-oh, she dropped down by mistake. Katrina, your thoughts? Did that speak to you already?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I am with what everybody said up here. This is so deep. And what gets me is when he was sitting up here saying the best thing, I hope he had a good night and think about what he did to my son, or that he wanted to unalive this boy. Man, you don't have no forgiveness in your heart. You got hate in your heart. There's no forgiveness there. I didn't see no type of forgiveness in your heart. You have no forgiveness. The reason what I'm saying this is even the reporter, the white reporter, came out and said that he was bullying them to move out of a seat. And she said that's the reason why we're in this predicament now, because he raised bullies and tried to bully a boy out of their seat. That's why we in this situation now, because the way that he was acting in that courtroom. And we, am I good?
Yeah, you good.
Okay. And when you got the enemy sitting on the bench, sitting in the jury box, and your lawyer, because your lawyer was your enemy. You paid this fool $600,000 to do nothing.
She did not. We don't
GoFundMe page, whatever, whoever, how much he got paid, he didn't deserve what he got because you did nothing for this boy. This young man, you did nothing for him. You didn't put him on the stand. You got Kyle Rittenhouse got on the stand and sob. And what happened? He's free. You got Mr. Chow that said that this child was running for some water, a bottle of water. You chasing somebody for a bottle of water, and you pow on his back. He at home eating pho soup. But you got this young boy, this young man. Sorry, I don't mean to call him a boy. Young man sitting behind a jail cell. And we're not saying that he doesn't deserve a punishment. We're saying the punishment that y'all giving him, it does not go with the crime that happened. When we seen in Texas where this young one white boy went in the bathroom, fought this Mexican boy, stabbed him, got 10 years. So I'm trying to figure out, people keep saying he deserved 35 years, he this, he that. And then another fact is, when they keep talking about black people being on welfare, if you go back and you look,
I don't want to go there.
I'm just saying that was, in my opinion, had said first.
No, but
I'm just saying what they saying that we did. But if you, I don't have to go to the top. It's not on the top. But I'm just saying when they're telling us that this is the type of people that we are, we're not that type of people. Because everybody that's not on welfare that has brownness in their skin is what I'm saying. And the thing of it is, I know you try to keep it a clean show, Diva. I got you. I'm with you on that. But some things have to just be said because I'm sick and tired of hearing all these people keep coming at us for no reason and to keep treating us with no respect. We get no respect and we didn't do anything to you. That's what I can't understand. What did we do so bad to y'all that y'all hate the color of our skin? Like, this is totally stupid and ridiculous. And like I said, you sit up and saying that you don't have no hate in your heart. Man, you got plenty hate in your heart. And for me to agree with Charleston White, I know something got to be wrong because I can't stand that man. But for me to agree with him, yes. And you got the black leaders out there. Candace said last night she didn't want to step on nobody's toes. She was sitting back waiting to see what they was doing because she was told that they had activists out there. Where they was at, I have no idea. I ain't seen none of them. But that's what she said yesterday. So hopefully they'll come through for this young man because right now I feel sorry for him. I don't know who's the wardens and the bailiffs and all those people or the COs. Hopefully they got him somewhere where he could be protected because I don't trust these people in that jail because I honestly believe they got somebody sitting in there to get rid of him. But I hope not. And we pray not. But that's all I got.
yeah, first of all, this black boy getting on the stand, he still had to get cross-examined, and his lawyer was trash. It wasn't going to work well for him. It wasn't going to work well for him.
Exactly. It was planned out in the whole time. Even if they would have brought psychiatrists in there. This thing was listen, the verdict was already in. When you take 3 hours less than going on a lunch break and you come back and find somebody guilty that quick, then you go back and come back and say this woman asking for mercy for a child, and you come back and say 35 years. What type of mercy is that? I mean, yes, the other guy is unalive. We get that. We're not saying that Carmelo shouldn't be punished. But we're just saying the punishment that he's getting is not fitting the crime that he's done. That's the only thing we're saying. But baby, you was already railroaded when you walked up in that courtroom. That was just really, really. And then I don't understand why your lawyer, if he was working for you, why didn't he ask for a change of venue? There's no way you was going to get no complete good trial right there in the first place. That's the first thing that he should have did was ask for a change of venue. He should have fought for this boy. He didn't fight for this boy because they all work together.
Whew. Michelle, your thoughts? I don't know. Michelle is struggling here with being online. Michelle, your thoughts? I think she's spinning. So let me add this. Since when has Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, or any of them needed an invitation to help with anything? Since when? They just come and they talk to the parents and they go help. So why do you need an invitation in this kid situation? This is sad.
Hey, Diva, can I say something?
Yes, you can.
I'm wondering because I think it was in my opinion last night or I've been watching so many shows, so I don't want to say where I got it from. But Someone had said that the parents at the beginning, after this happened, said, we don't, they came out publicly and said, we don't want to make this a race factor. Race has nothing to do with this, which I'm sure they're regretting now. But I'm wondering if did Ben Crump and Al Sharpton and some of the others reach out and they refused it because they were thinking they're so embedded in the community and if we just stay away from the race card, it'll help us. I'm wondering if they pushed help away.
It's a possibility.
Well, they said that they had every lawyer was like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Hold on 1 second. Michelle, can you hear us now?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, speak.
Okay, thank you. This really bothered me because my nephew just got out of prison. He was in there 30 years, and they found out the DNA did not match him or the other men. And they spent 30 years. They were 17 and 18 years old. So that's why I'm feeling real bad for this Karmelo Anthony. It's rough. It was a rough thing for my nephew. For 30 years, that's all your life. You know what I mean? And especially, he kept saying, I didn't do it. But they said 3 boys was on this woman's porch. But when it boiled down, the witness said she saw these 3 boys, but she could never get them pinpointed. And that's what they went on, only what she said. And they had to do 30 years. So just imagine this boy going in, because I heard today that when they took him to the prison, that Metcalf is
they didn't take him to that one. They didn't take him to that one
because Jasmine Crockett was talking about it, because they said it was an A or a B one, and she said he was going to go into B, not the A where the Metcalf Morton was. And then she stated that his mother was very upset. That's why she left out of the room, because she was really upset. But some people can handle things and some people can't. So I'm not going to beat down the mother at this time because she don't need that. But I'm looking at boys. These boys were white boys.
Michelle, I'm gonna let you finish. No. I get what people can handle and not handle. But she had months to play scenarios in her head. She was in that courtroom and saw how the railroading was going. And she's delusional if you think for 2.2 seconds you get up there and say, show my baby mercy. The same people that just found him guilty. Well, you should have sat in that courtroom so that when your baby was being taken away, at the very least, he could have turned back and saw your face.
Well, a lot of things we said we're going to do.
The grandmother stayed in there.
Well, I don't know. I wasn't in there, but I'm just going by what they stated, that she left out. She was very upset. So what else can I say?
She should have been upset.
I'm
saying this respectfully.
But I know me as a mother, it's different.
$630,000. You should have got every lawyer under the sun to been on that side with your son. Your son was fighting for his life.
Yes, but where was Crump at? He's always with the other people. He's always there. Where's Sharpton at? They always there. But why they wasn't there for these people then? Where were they? They took all the money away when they did the pill money. They gave it all back to the people who donated the money for his appeal. It's sad. I know he's going to get railroaded. I feel bad for him because just look at his life. He's 19 now. He got 17 years of doing it. He's going to be in his 40s, late 40s when he come out. Just imagine. But I know how I seen my grandson went to the private schools with white kids. Because I'm going to tell you something. The boy hit my grandson. My grandson fought him back. Don't you know another white boy jumped in it? So they double teamed him. But guess who got suspended? My grandson got suspended. And you know who went up there? Even though my son didn't want me to go, But I went up there and I raised holy hell. I raised holy hell. How dare y'all suspend him? When he was jumped, he fought the boy one on one. That other boy didn't have not a darn thing to do with it. I don't care if it was his friend. But see how they can get away with things that we can't get away with. So I know living that life, it's not easy. And I am from the hood. And I still live in the hood. And I taught in the hood. So I know just how everybody is. But it's sad because those boys was bigger than him. They surrounded him. They said all four of them surrounded him. It's sad. What else was he supposed to do?
So let me throw this in the conversation. And what I want to throw in the conversation is this. I don't know how much more Black people need to see before we realize that we can't do like others do.
You right about that.
At what point are you going to wake up and realize that? How many people got to die? How many people do we got to bury? How many times do we got to come and say this was wrong? How many times do we got to come and say this person was railroaded? We said on this channel, not everybody agreed. There was some panelists that said on this channel, you're laughing and you're wishing Diddy go to jail for life. And we said this is going to impact all the Black and brown people. They was railroaded, whether you like Diddy or not. See, that's the other thing people got to understand. You should care about right or wrong, whether it's happening to the person you like or don't like.
Yes.
So he got railroaded in that court in the Southern District of New York. And the only reason why he got partially saved is because bloggers, the news, and everybody else was in that courtroom. This judge is trying to sit here and act like he's so profound and he came up with the life solution, talking about, oh, I had it. Oh, I don't know. Oh, nobody in the social media, anything. It's what the public is paying for this trial.
Yes, we pay the taxes.
Dollars money. Not about what you owe us. We have a right to be in the room. Do they think we just dumb, stupid, or both? Sir, and no, you didn't keep the media out because you was trying to save something. You kept them out because you know that y'all had a plan to railroad this boy and you need to knock it off. He sat there in his interview and he was smug and smirked too. But see, one thing I know, I'm going to say this. Evil will always lose and the righteous will rise to the top. None of them people are sleeping easy at night. Even after they railroaded Karmelo Anthony, the father is still filled of hate, anger, and everything else. No matter how this case would have went down, the father was still going to be full of anger.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So he got 35 years, and now you saying he should have got life. If they would have gave him life, you would have said he should have got death. So you ain't about forgiveness. You're angry, you're mad, and no matter how this case goes down, you still are going to spill your anger and your hate everywhere. And so Best IBK said the mother asked for Ben and them not to come down. Well, the mother, you helped them railroad your son. She got to take the L. Her and daddy. Anybody else?
And then Diva, they said they was told not to hire a Black lawyer.
I saw that.
Hire for your son?
Girl, who you talking?
You won't let somebody tell you who to hire for your
son? That's what I'm saying.
So listen, you playing with my child life. My thing is I'm going to get the best. Even if I have to go out and mortgage my house, or I have to go out and sell a car, I got to do what I got to do. You're not going to take my son down this road, especially when I know that he was trying to defend himself and y'all railroaded him from the get-go. And that's why that judge didn't want people talking. They put a gag order on it because they didn't want people to come out and know that Metcalf boy was a bully. He was trying to keep everything centered So everybody would say, well, he got what he deserved because this happened. No, you did this because you didn't want people talking that this boy was a bully and that the school was saying that he was a bully and y'all
Yes.
knew he was a bully. So
Yes. So
come
they
on,
say
make
the
it make sense.
cheerleaders complained. They say the cheerleaders at that school complained about them boys, them brothers, about they was bullying, but they ignored them. They said
Well, see, let me
cheerleaders.
tell you something. The brother didn't get on the stand for a reason. You know, it don't take rocket science here to figure this out. The brother didn't get on the stand for a reason because
Mm-hmm.
he wouldn't have been able to hold back
He wouldn't have.
what
He
was
wouldn't
in.
have.
He wouldn't have been able to hold
No.
back.
No, he wouldn't have. No, he
But you
wouldn't
know
have.
what though? Let me tell you something. If I was black and I lived in Texas, I would take everything I had and I would move. I would leave my job behind, Texas behind, and everything else. And I don't care where the next place I go. I don't care if I would have been in a studio apartment with my 10 kids and the dog and my husband. I would leave. I wouldn't buy nothing in Texas. I wouldn't live in Texas. I would be out. Deuces, I'm gone.
Hey,
Because
Diva.
yes, I'm coming to you. There, you do a crime and you black, you in trouble. You might as well go ahead and be ready to spend your life in jail. Go ahead, K&J.
So you speaking facts because I was actually considering retiring to Texas in the next couple of years once my son go off to college. But that plan is done. I'd rather stay here in Chicago. But have you all heard that the boys, the twins, had jumped on their father and supposedly broke his arm or
Mm-hmm.
something like? It's
Mm-hmm.
funny how everything about them has just been swept under the rug and it's been quiet. But when
Mm-hmm.
this first started, I remember hearing more details about their history and their background, even
Mm-hmm.
pictures with them holding pow pows, and somehow all of that has been wiped clean.
Mm-hmm.
Listen.
Diva, if I may.
He said, "Give mom some grace. She's hurting right now." And they said she don't play about them kids. You know what, AP? I'm gonna respectfully say I understand. We all got our opinions over here, right? And you know, I say catch the train, don't catch feelings. She play about the kids because she played with Carmelo Anthony.
And Diva, if I may, the parents didn't help the case either. When over a year ago, the rumblings of them buying a new home and a new Cadillac
Eight
Escalade,
hundred thousand. 800,000.
to the point where Senator Ted Cruz retweeted that post, and they came out and they did not dispute it at that time. And it is proven that they did buy a vehicle. I don't know about the home, but they did buy a vehicle, and they said that the vehicle was purchased before they started receiving any of the monies that were donated. But they didn't help their son's case by doing this either. The last thing I'm going to be thinking of is buying an almost $1 million home and a brand new vehicle.
And my son is facing M charges, which should have never been M charges. Because M is you premeditated it. How did he premeditate that he was going to get into an argument, a fight with Austin Metcalf, and then pull this thing out and stab him? The whole thing, and let me tell you what the judge did, because he think he's trying to bamboozle somebody. He threw out at the 11th hour. Y'all could consider manslaughter. Manslaughter should have never been a consideration. It should have been the charge. I can't do this with these people. It should have been the charge. If they was charging him with anything, manslaughter should have been the charge and not murder. How do I premeditate that I'm gonna go to a trap meet and take this guy's life? Can't do it. So manslaughter should have been a charge. The lawyer was trash. And if anybody needs a lawyer and they hire that man, you must go ahead and plan your life behind bars.
No, they say he was part of them too. He was friends with them also. That's why he didn't push nothing. They say he was friends with that.
I heard that too, but I like to have
Mm-hmm.
a little verification. You know,
I know. I know.
there's a lot of stuff that was
That's coming out. Yes,
that's
little
bringing out
thing.
there. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what though? None of them are sleeping at night. And this town in this state did a disservice to them kids. Because those kids got up there and they misrepresented the truth. I'm going to be easy because it's kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
They misrepresented the truth. And you're not going to be able to sleep at night when you misrepresent the truth. And I'm sorry, but not sorry. That one that called them over to the tent, shame on you. That is like me saying, Michelle, no, come over to so-and-so house. No, it's going to be good. And then everybody start asking you, what you doing here?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say, yo, Michelle's with me. I called her over here.
And I'm wondering, did they threaten him? I mean,
I believe they did.
I wonder
believe
if they
they
threatened
did.
him to get him to be quiet. Like maybe thought he was going to be bullied at school or something.
They say he had a knife in his bag. He had snacks in his bag. He had some puzzles and he had some books in his bag.
You're talking about Karmelo, I think.
Kamala, right. But
she's
you know what?
Eddie. She's talking about Eddie. But hold
Now the thing is, I have sons and I know how it go. You sitting there, and I thought about them. They've been teenagers. They grown now. They 50, 47, 37. You see, he's sitting there, and they came over him, and he probably said, just leave me alone, because y'all going to make me have something for y'all. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to back down. I believe he said it, and then they kept on taunting him. I really believe that. And when it got rough, and I think they always going to jump him, and that's when the stabbing took place. That's my opinion. It might be wrong, but my spirit just told me they were going to jump him. All four of them boys were going to jump him. But the thing was, they didn't expect him to have a knife on him.
Yeah, listen. Allegedly, there was a video. Allegedly, Eddie was filming it with the phone. Let me tell you this. This is why I think I know there was a video, because these kids now film everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. It's the BS of it all. But these kids is going to eventually surface. This video is going to eventually surface. The truth is going to eventually come out. I'm just praying to God that Karmelo survives in this prison.
Mm-hmm.
That is my prayer, that he survives. But the truth is going to surface because somebody's going to talk. A real video is going to get leaked, because you can't tell me that more than one kid wasn't filming, which initially an argument.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me people wasn't filming it, because these kids film everything. Go ahead, K&J. The truth.
Why wouldn't the parents release the video? I know they've had to see it. That was part of the evidence. If you're showing me a video of my son doing anything involved in anything, I'm pulling out my phone and I'm recording what you have right then and there.
Why, you mean Karmelo's parents didn't show the video?
Yeah.
They didn't have it. They didn't have it.
You don't think they've seen it at
No.
all, that it wasn't shown to them?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
But how can they keep that from them?
What do you mean how?
Because it was part of the court
because
proceeding.
they got shafted. That's why they got shafted from the DA, from the judge, from the prosecutor.
That's right, from everybody.
They got shafted. That's
Yes,
why they
they
ain't
did.
finna see nothing. They got shafted. We can't say it no better.
Y'all.
No, I'm just saying they got shafted. It ain't gonna get no better.
When we watch.
Oh wait, hold on, y'all. So they already leaked all the jurors' names?
Yeah, somebody ran down the road and hit somebody. They thought they was the juror and they wasn't the juror.
Oh,
And then to have those kids to come up there and tell like my mama told me, a story ain't that short. To come up there and tell no lies, because you recanted the stories that you first said. So it wasn't that they was up there half truth. No, you got up there and lied. Because my mom always say a story ain't never been that short. They lied.
He deleted the video, but you know what? He wasn't the only one with a video.
Guess what? They can get that video, because on Karamo they get some videos and they go up in the cloud and get them.
Yeah,
anything he looking for, so it can be done. It can be done.
They don't want it.
Yeah, that's it. That's the key. They don't want it.
this community and this town, they know what they did.
Yes.
They know what they did. And I want to be clear. Unfortunately, Karmelo made a split decision that changed his whole world in life. And again, I am not saying for 1.2 seconds that there should have been zero punishment, but this thing is bigger than what it is. I think that more people need to be speaking out because this thing is very racially divided. It's just sad. And many people are coming out saying factual what happened under a tent, and I don't want to hear nothing for nobody who wasn't underneath the tent. And this stupidity of why didn't he just leave the tent? There's a whole bunch of adults that are told to leave somewhere and they don't leave either. We need to stop the nonsense. We need to stop the nonsense.
Why should he leave the tent? He was just sitting down minding his business. So what was the problem?
And he was invited to the tent.
Well, he was still minding his business. He wasn't bothering nobody.
Yeah, it's just a mess. Anybody else before I move on?
No, let's go, Diva.
Yeah, let's go. I was trying to bring up the Judge Hatchett. She's a mess too, which she came out and said was messy. I lost my video on that. If I find it when I move on, I'll bring her video up. So let me go ahead and move into the next story. Let me see what I'm gonna bring up here.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Warren. The Brazoria County Sheriff deputy has fired a deputy for a shooting that killed a Texas State student. Fox 7 Austin's Angela Shen in studio with the details. Angela.
Yeah, the sheriff released a video statement yesterday where he explained that this firing does not necessarily mean criminal liability. Other entities are going to investigate this case. Brazoria County Sheriff Bo Stallman has released a video statement on the case of 18-year-old John Mendoza Jr., who was shot and killed after an encounter with Deputy Kevin Tippett. Mendoza was an incoming sophomore at Texas State University.
Regardless of any outcome of any investigation, your family's loss is permanent and your grief is real. I cannot begin to understand the pain your family is experiencing, but I want you to know that your loss is seen and that John Mendoza Jr. will not be forgotten.
This happened near Lake Jackson, which is south of Houston. According to the sheriff's office, a deputy tried to pull over Mendoza, but Mendoza kept driving. Two other teens were also in the car. Authorities say Mendoza eventually stopped inside his garage. There was some sort of encounter with Deputy Tippett, which ended with Mendoza being shot and killed. Surveillance video shows the vehicle involved and the sound of a single gunshot. Multiple police vehicles show up afterwards. Stallman says Tippett was fired because of policy violations related to his handling of his firearm. The district attorney's office and a grand jury will decide what legal actions are appropriate.
My decision is entirely independent of the ongoing criminal investigation and should not be interpreted as a conclusion regarding criminal liability. Now, I know there will be some who believe this decision goes too far, and others believe it does not go far enough. And I understand my role is not to satisfy every opinion. My role as sheriff is to make informed decisions based on the information available to me, and while respecting the integrity and the investigative and legal process.
Mendoza's family spoke after the deputy's firing.
Any other person in Brazoria County that murdered and shot an unarmed teen on camera would be arrested and charged with murder. I'm glad a person like this is off the streets. Kevin Tippett needs to be charged and indicted with murder.
And the Texas Rangers will continue to work through the facts of the case. Once that investigation is done, the case will be forwarded to the Brazoria County DA's office.
Texas got a little problem going on.
Because they allowed to have guns.
Yeah, hold on. That was the cop, though, that did it. Hold on. Let me just mute your line until I come to you, please. Why did it not go in here? I'm sorry, I can't bring up the story, but the point is this kid now, well, like they said, the cop tried to pull him over. The kid kept driving, drove to his house. The cop shot him. Julius, your thoughts?
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
The cop needs to be held accountable. We talk about so many cases of abuse of power, and it's time that these people are held accountable. It's it's a travesty to me because you have cops out there who love what they do, who wanna empower and make a difference in the community. But you also have cops out there who do wrong and they want to cover it up. And those are the ones like this cop in the story needs to be held accountable.
Thank you, Savannah.
Diva, I agree with you wholeheartedly that Texas has a problem with protecting their citizens, especially the minorities. I appreciate this chief at least saying the young man's name and addressing him by his full name, and actually stating what happened and what courses they're going to take. I don't think any amount of training or any amount of vetting is going to correct this issue anytime soon. Texas, as we all know, if you watch the news, is so embedded in politics right now. It's politics over people, politics over safety, and they applaud things like this. You know, they to them that officer um, is a hero. It doesn't he'll be back out on another force. I don't expect him to get much of a heavy sentence. He definitely won't be getting no 35 years.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
and he'll be in another county wearing the same badge and terrorizing minorities, and he will be praised amongst his peers. I don't see any type of change because this story is now being told.
Thank you, Savannah. Michelle, your thoughts?
Yes. Well, Savannah really said it all.
Hmm.
She really said it all across the board. She said it all. So that's where I'm at.
Thank you, Wayne.
You know, I can't believe that that officer in that short period of time could have anything that could have gone on. He couldn't have de-escalated it. I thought that's what officers do. It,
Mm.
obviously, the young man didn't have a weapon because they would have mentioned that. So what could have happened in that short period of time that would deserve a weapon being fired at all? I mean, this could have been a simple de-escalation, I believe. And I wasn't there, but to know that this happened in a short period of time and a weapon was fired, now somebody gone. That's it.
You know, it's interesting that they giving a cop all this grace for powing a teenager that was unarmed. He didn't make better decisions, but we're expecting Carmelo Anthony as a teenager. He should have made all the decisions, left the tent, did this, called for that one, called that. But you got a whole trained cop. K and J, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna be in a lot of prayer this weekend because I swear all of this is just bothering my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with what everyone has said, Savannah and Wayne and Diva. Like this should have been de-escalated. I
Mm-hmm.
just don't understand why when they see our young people,
Mm,
black and brown people, they automatically think that the only option is to take their lives.
my God.
And me having a 17-year-old son, I stay awake at night sometimes just praying over him, his coming and his goings, because there's so many threats out there. So yeah, I'm with everyone, but I'm just gonna be in deep prayer this weekend. That's it.
Yeah. Katrina.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody said. Everybody was correct. Fan, Julius, Diva, Wayne, Ken Jade. Everybody was correct on everything you said. It's just sad that these kids don't know if they're gonna make it back home when they leave home. We don't know if they're gonna make it back home when they leave home. I mean, it's a blessing when they walk back in the door, because we don't know what might happen to them when they out there in the streets. And not because they doing something they ain't got no business doing. They can just be out there and something can happen to them because of the color of their skin. I'm so sick and tired of saying that part, the color of their skin. My dear God, let it go. Let it go. Everybody deserves to live. I don't care if they pink, yellow, blue. You don't come after me because of the color of my skin. So that means that you scared of me. And you're not scared of me because what I would do. You scared of me of what I could become or what our black kids can become. That's what you're scared of. You're scared of them being educated. And that's your worst nightmare, an educated black woman or a black man or a brown woman or a brown man. That's what you're afraid of. Not afraid of our skin color. You're afraid of the education that we get and that we can use it to buy more things, to do things for our family that we don't need you for. That's all I got.
In my opinion,
Notice nobody's called this police officer a monster. How bad he is. He took
I call him Freddy
somebody's
Krueger.
life. But Carmelo, he was a monster. He took somebody's life. Well, so did this officer, and he's trained. And that's the kid. He ain't even under arrest. He ain't even charged yet. You see the difference? He's a trained professional. That's a teenager. He pow somebody. This boy only poked somebody. And whether we like it or not, he was charged, tried, and convicted in less than a year. Sentenced on the same day. He couldn't even let it soak in. But this officer, all he got to do is go home and wait for the good old boys to take care of him. If this what y'all doing in Texas, then I pray that all the brown and black people come on up out of Texas. Quit spending your tax dollars where they don't love you.
Be out. And I mean that with everything I love. I'm going to go ahead and roll into this next story. And the next story is, let me say this. Tara, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for supporting the channel. Let me say this. I personally do not care who and what you identify as and what you want to do in your life and who you want to sleep in. It's none of my business. I don't care. If you love me, I'm gonna love you back, no matter what the situation is. But I just like before we were aware of, and I'm treading lightly here because people get so sensitive, right? Before we were aware of different situations, I'll say those words, right? There was a male bathroom and a female bathroom. There was sports that traditionally the guys did, and there's sports that traditionally females did, or even if there was sports that blended, they still had separate teams. They had the female team, they had the male team, right? So you have now the transgender community. And if I was born a male, but I identify as a female, I can now be in the female sports. We got to talk this through more, because the transgender was wrestling with the girl and stuck his fingers, or I'm sorry, I got to say their fingers, in the girl's private area. Something has got to be done, because this nonsense right here has got to stop. Hold on one second. We had the adult who she's part of the LGBTQ community herself, and said that in the bathroom of the gym, a transgender person kept coming in and kept getting an erection and all kinds of other stuff. So Team Wrestler claims she was SA by the transgender athlete in the girls' match, and now she's suing. A female high school wrestler is suing for allegedly being SA by the transgender opponent in a state tournament, accusing officials of failing to tell her she was facing a biological male. Callie Killer, a sophomore at Rogers High School in Washington, alleges that her transgender opponent jammed his fingers through her spandex and penetrated her privates, according to the 74-page lawsuit filed this week by her and her mom, who filmed the troubling December bout. Kayla, who was 15 at the time, shouted to her mom on the sideline that her opponent's fingers were in her coochie and let herself be pinned just so it would stop, the suit claims. It was only later that she learned that she had been allegedly assaulted by a biological male, leaving her feeling violated all over again, according to the Killers, who are represented by Alliance Defending Freedom, ADF, in the lawsuit. Her mother informed school officials about the incident and even provided them with the video, but her complaints were ignored, the lawsuit said. The alleged assault was reported to the county sheriff's office until nearly 2 months later, and only after it gained media attention. In the violation of the state 48-hour deadline for officials to report such SA allegations, the following alleged. Prosecutors declined to pursue charges last week, claiming that charges could not be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, the New York Sun reported. The lawsuit is against the Washington Interscholastic Activities Association, state and district officials, and school employees. The trans athlete and the athlete's family are not identified in the lawsuit. The WIAA permits students to participate in sports with their gender identity rather than their biological gender, and state law prohibits discrimination based on gender identity. Our client's story is proof of the grave harms caused by lying about biology. This must end. Otherwise, girls will continue getting hurt and violated. We are urging the court to require state officials to change their policy to ensure that girls' privacy and safety are protected when they compete in sports they love. ADF Senior Counsel Kate Anderson, director of the ADF Center for Parental Rights, said in a statement, "No girl should have to unknowingly wrestle a boy. And at minimum, parents must be notified before their daughters are matched against male opponents." Killer has since quit wrestling. The lawsuit claims they are demanding change so no one else has to go through this. Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling, an outspoken critic of transgender athletes in women's sports, called the allegations in the lawsuit appalling. "I want those who champion men in women's sports to explain why they're happy to put girls at risk like this," she posted on Thursday. The school district told the news that it had not been formally served with the complaint as of Thursday. "We are aware of the allegations referenced in your inquiry and are reviewing this matter. However, because this matter involves student policy considerations and anticipated litigation, we are unable to comment further at this time." This has got to stop. Julius, your thoughts?
Two issues at hand. And I am someone who is gay, a part of the LGBT community, but I appear to those in the audience, hear me out. There's two issues at hand. Alleged SA, number one. Number two, information about the opponent was withheld. That's an organizational problem. I do believe, like I said, with the woman with the locker room, this young lady does have a case. Now, I know in wrestling you're supposed to wrestle a certain way, but You're not supposed to harm your opponent. And if potential charges against the other student athlete are coming, it opens it up to a bigger conversation. And that conversation is what therapies are out there for adolescent youth. There's plenty of avenues to go, um, but this is it is a heavy topic. Ignoring, like, like the political noise and stuff like that, because there's two real issues here that require delicate care that need to be addressed. That's it.
Thank you, Savannah.
So, Diva, a crowd saw a child, a 15-year-old, be essayed, and nobody jumped to her
Well,
defense.
you couldn't really tell. Like, I gotta go back and see if it's a little clip. You can't, like, if you didn't know what's going on, you wouldn't be able to tell. And remember, her mother, she mouthed to her mother like, "Yo, this person got their hand in my coochie." So it's
Right.
not
And
everybody just witness it like that and didn't do anything.
okay, okay, because my blood is boiling over here, and this is a one of those political issues of why we have the current administration that we have, because this was something that I was heavily involved in years ago with my work and the Save America Act, and also protection of the Girls in Sports Act. And every time it came to the floor, uh, the Democratic Party voted against it. And this has been going on for several years. They believe that it shouldn't be a blanket stroke across the board, and they want to leave it to school districts to decide whether transgender or people students who identify on the LGBTQ spectrum, are they authorized to participate in sports, especially female sports. I see our girls have less and less protection, and it sickens me and it makes me sad. Thank goodness that the mom brought this out, and I think there should be lawsuits all around, because this is it's such a violation. And all the stories we've done here with people who pose as transgenders, or even transgenders, to each his own, but that go in the dressing rooms, in our locker rooms, at gyms. I mean, where is it safe for us to be able to undress or enjoy our privacy at that moment, when even in the school systems, our children, our girls, are being violated and not protected, because these people are just getting, they know how to manipulate the system and how to be um, just it sickens me, the type of therapy that this young lady is going to need, and help. It's just, I'm trying to figure out how they thought it was okay for someone that identified as a male or was born a male, was still okay to wrestle a 15-year-old. It's beyond me. I think that we as a society have keep failing our girls, and people in the political realm have a lot of blame when it comes to situations like this, where we can't even protect our girls in schools, in malls, in bathrooms, in church. It doesn't matter where these pedophiles, these sickos, these, and I'm saying those that pose as transgender to come in and and violate the space of our girls. So please don't get my words twisted. To each your own. But this just breaks my heart, and I'm a hawk on my 10-year-old little girl, because I just know that we live in a very sick, twisted world, and this I hope they really sue the pants off this school.
Yeah,
It's just this is gross.
it is gross. Hold on, I do have the video. Let me see. I wanna wait. Hold on. Let me share screen, and then I'm gonna come to you, Michelle. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
You gotta look close because you'll see where his hands are in the video. Let me see.
Get to your base.
Hands. You see his hands?
Get to your
That's
base.
one thing.
You see his hands?
No, I can't see it.
His
I
hands
can
are
see it
between her
clear.
legs.
You can
It's
see it
between her
clear.
legs, yeah.
The hands was between the legs.
Get to your
Right there.
base. Get to your
Here
base.
it is.
Get to your base.
That is terrible and disgusting.
Why do her face look like that?
Oh my god.
And so the mother didn't even know until afterwards, like, the girl mouthed it to her, but she really knew afterwards. Michelle, your thoughts?
Yes, I don't like it because it's like that's a boy. I don't care what. That's a boy. He don't have no business laying on top of her behind. He probably was getting a hard on, and why he stuck his finger there.
Mm.
Now, I'm telling you, he's still a boy. I don't care if he is trying to be a girl, whatever. But that is wrong. Girls should have their own sports, and boys supposed to have their own sports. Because I want to know when those girls get undressed, what locker room is he in when it's girls wrestling?
Same one.
That should be a no-no. He shouldn't see those girls undressed, getting their bras and panties together and things like that. No. Go in the bathroom. No. Don't like it. I don't like it. Because this here is going to make people start looking at what's really going on. There's no way. No. I don't like it. It's bothering me.
Yeah.
Would have to be
Wayne,
my granddaughter down here.
Wayne, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not down with that either.
Mm-mm.
Now I'm not, I'm good on if a girl want to play football, if, go for it. If she get knocked down enough, or she may be even better than that and can hang in there, but that's a choice. And that's a choice if a team want to do that. But to deceive somebody, because that's deceit, to deceive somebody, and then, like she was saying, no woman has to be put through that a man.
Right.
I don't care if their hair long and everything. If that thing is slinging down there and a woman got to look at him in where they're supposed to be private, it's wrong. Now, my thing is that, okay, and this is not, people may want to say this discrimination, but, okay, starting off with two sexes, male, female. Okay, now we got transgender. Okay, then we need to have a bathroom that's a transgender. Whatever it is, it has to be trans. I don't know how they're gonna pay for it, whatever. But I'm saying, because now you're looking at a separate entity. Okay, you don't mix the boys with the girls' bathrooms, whatever. So now we have in this society another gender. Then we need accommodations for that gender. You can't put that gender with the males or that gender with the females. Okay, so that's the way I see you can solve that. I know people are going to say that, oh, it's a choice, whatever, blah, blah. Well, these people, they're here, they're in our society, and they got to be accommodated just like the crippled person over here. They ain't got no legs. This one ain't got no arms, and we accommodate these people. So we're going to have to accommodate these people. But no, you cannot, just because you identify as something, I don't identify you as that. and you're still to me as to what I see. I know it's there. So it's not fair. It's not fair to a female. It's not fair to a male. That's it.
KJ?
Yeah, I'm on the same train with Wayne. And I'm not trying to be offend anybody, but I went to a bathroom. I was taking a class at a community college, and I walked in the bathroom. I didn't realize it was non-gender, and I go in there, and as I'm coming out, this person that was transgender was there, and you could immediately, tell that they were transgender. And the person spoke with the deep voice and everything, and I'll be honest, fear grew up in me because I'm like, I'm vulnerable right now. We're in a closed space. This person is much taller than me, much bigger than me, and I did have a moment to like, what if this goes left? And just looking at the young lady's face when she was being assaulted, my heart broke for her because you can just tell on her face that she was totally violated and she was totally vulnerable and caught off guard. And I think this. I'm with you, Diva. We have to revisit this because this is
Mhm.
not working. We can't have something like that happen to our young ladies. In their sports, they're vulnerable. They're thinking they're there to compete, and she was assaulted on that mat. No, we got to revisit this. I'm with you.
Yeah. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, Diva. Only thing I'm gonna say is, regardless of the fact, you still a male and you wrestling a woman. You still got more than likely male got more stamina and more strength than a woman. So you're gonna win the wrestling match anyway. Just like that swimmer that was supposed to be in he's a male well, he's transgender and he was in the women's sports and he won the medals. But they came back and got him from him because you got more men have more strength than women. And I'm not saying women are weak, but men have more strength than women. And you in the sport, you couldn't win in your own sport. Then you come here and get in ours because you talking about you transgender. Now my thing is, if y'all want to be transgender, go. They need to build a bathroom for you to be transgender in because you sit up here watching my child take off their clothes and changing their clothes, and you get an erection from that. So, but therefore, let me know right there, you really don't want to be a woman because if you having those type of feelings, you're supposed to take hormones to get rid of them. So you telling me that you really don't want to be a woman? You in there because you got more things on your mind than trying to be a woman and transgender, and that's really setting our girls up to be attacked, to be art, to be harassed, to be S8. It's all in there because some of them just do it just so they can say they're transgender or whatsoever, so they can assault people. And I'm not saying all of them gonna do it. I'm not saying every last one of them do. I'm just saying that's what some of them do. That's an easy way to get into a woman bathroom to say I'm transgender. Come on. That's an easy way to get in there to assault some women to claim that you transgender. They need to do better with this. And like I said, I'm not going against what anybody want to be or whatsoever. I'm just talking about the things that's right. A lot of people want to be that way so they can get in there to assault women. Or maybe assault a man. Who knows? But I'm just saying that's where they get a lot of assault cases from, dealing with stuff like this. That's all I got.
Steve, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Did you hear the story about the guy? Uh, he was transgender, and they transferred him to a woman's prison,
Yeah, I
and
did.
the inmates start getting pregnant.
That happened in New Jersey. That happened in New Jersey. There's a bigger story behind that, but yes, that happened in New Jersey. Um, did I go? In my opinion, did I go to you yet?
No.
Go ahead, you up.
This is a bigger issue than transgenders in the bathroom. Literally, we sitting here watching something unthinkable happen before our eyes.
Mm.
Um, and the fact that that could have been anybody's daughter, that should put a fear in every mother that has a daughter or a son that's coming up. because this could be your child.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm telling you, if they want to keep these people included with sports, with locker rooms, they're going to have to build a sport and a locker room that's just for them. They don't want to be in the same locker room with each other. Hey, we can't pick and choose who we want to be in the locker room with. We in the locker room with our women. They're going to have to be in the locker room with our trans. They're going to also have to have a trans sport, because I'm not going to sit here and watch our little girls be assaulted because these people want to play around with their genders. I just don't feel like this is right. And they're way too young to try to make these decisions on what is accident and what is on purpose. All this girl knows is that his hand was where it wasn't supposed to be. And it ain't enough protection in those little spandex to protect her body.
Mm-hmm.
And she shouldn't have to go through this.
At all.
When all she wanted to do was play wrestling as a sport.
I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze in my last story of the night. Thank y'all for hanging in there with me through all these stories. Much appreciated. This is very sad. And I think on Special K said it, the look on her face, like, oh my God, this is sad. Being violated. And then you doing it. And there's there's all these people there. That just tells you the sickness going on in your head. And what other little girl did this happen to? Rolling to my last story. When we in a day and age where people are robbing lemonade stands, we in trouble. We in big trouble. Kids lemonade stand robbed at gunpoint in South Boston, the police said. Hold on one second.
Right, but this innocent act for so many kids, opening up a lemonade stand is a rite of passage, right? But this innocent act, or what should be innocent, took a really dangerous and scary turn in South Boston.
Is a wild story. Police say 2 kids running a lemonade stand were robbed at gunpoint by other children. NBC 10 Boston's Mary Marcos has this story.
It's the kind of thing that makes you smile on a summer day. Kids selling lemonade on the corner. But their mom says what happened here left them traumatized.
My daughter called me and I'm at work. She was in hysterics crying, somebody put a gun to us and took all of our money.
Boston police put out this surveillance video showing the 2 boys walking near the lemonade stand on the corner of E and West 9th Streets around 4:45 Wednesday.
They noticed 2 kids with masks over their face across the street. They kept coming back and forth.
Jen Burns says they went up to her kids and asked if they took Apple Pay, then lifted up their shirts and flashed a gun.
My daughter said when they said we're taking it all, she just put her arms up in the air and said, just take it, just take it.
A neighbor tells us she saw the kids with this money box on Grimes Street. When they spotted her, she says they dropped it, grabbed the $50 inside, and ran.
My son is 12, and he said one was smaller than him. He'd have to guess he was like 10 or 11. And then the other child he said he looked a little older, so maybe like 14.
Elected officials say it's hard to believe kids with guns targeting other kids like this.
Having younger people involved in this activity is troubling, and it speaks to the work that needs to be done.
When someone robs a lemonade stand, you can't continue saying we're the safest city in America.
Police say the kids running the stand weren't hurt, but the family is shaken.
My daughter, the youngest one, she's nervous to even walk home to the 2 blocks from our bus stop.
Police are asking anyone who saw anything or recognized the kids in the surveillance video to come forward. Reporting in South Boston, Mary Marcos, NBC 10 Boston.
I was in shock with this story. Hold on one second. Let me play. Show some more. So Boston children lemonade stand robbed at gunpoint in broad daylight. Just take it. So 2 Boston children hoping to make some extra cash for the summer were robbed at gunpoint in broad daylight while they were running their lemonade stand. The young entrepreneurs, an 11-year-old girl and 12-year-old boy, noticed 2 juvenile suspects passing the stand in South Boston around 4:45 p.m. Wednesday before the suspects finally stopped to ask if the children accepted Apple Pay, according to the Boston Police Department. Before the pair could respond, one suspect snatched the cash box while the other lifted his shirt and displayed a black firearm tucked into his waistband. The two suspects then fled on foot with the cash box containing $50. The young victims contacted their father, who called 911. No arrests have been made. But police have released images and a short video of the juvenile suspects pacing around the area. While the police are investigating the incident, the children's mother, Jennifer Byrne, told the news that ordeal has left her and her kids traumatized. Byrne said she was alerted to the armed robbery while at work when her daughter called hysterically crying. "Somebody put a gun to us and took all of our money," she recalled her daughter telling her over the phone. "My daughter said when they said we're taking it all, she put her arms up in the air and said, 'Just take it, just take it.'" Byrne told the outlet that a neighbor noticed a suspect with the kids' pink cash box soon after they were robbed and yelled at the pair to stop. However, the young thieves dropped the box, quickly snatched the $50 inside, and fled the area again. Byrne told the news that her son described one suspect as a black male smaller than him, guessing he was around 10 or 11. Wearing a mask. The other was described as a black male in his early teens, wearing a black Nike style mask, black shirt, shorts, and high white socks. The two innocent little kids just trying to make some slush money, and they have to fear for their life. It's horrific. It's horrific. I have no other words, the mother said to the news. Boston City Council Ed Flynn wrote on Facebook Wednesday night that the armed robbery highlighted the community's need for more police officers and to redouble our community's policing efforts. The thoughts of our entire community are with the young children and the families who had to endure the terrible and senseless ordeal, Flynn wrote. There is simply no one that envisions a place where a children's lemonade stand is robbed at gunpoint as the safest city in America. As for the victims, neighbors have rallied behind them and are expected to turn out in droves Friday evening to support a new lemonade stand, a show of solidarity to help them recoup their losses, the news reported. Beyond sad. Julius, your thoughts?
This hurts my spirit. This hurts my spirit. Lemonade stands used to be the it place. Because I know, especially when I was a kid, $1 to $2. That's how we all used to come together. I have to say this, there is a evil force around these children today. It was starting to show its ways through the generations, but it is prevalent in today's youth. I don't know. I don't know how much mentorship can help. Like, in my mind, I'm running out of solutions to think of. Like, how can we better try to turn the tide with these children? Because now it's two children who are just trying to make some money. Instead of asking their parents, they wanted to make some money, which is a good entrepreneur mindset and a good constructive mindset. Now they possibly would not want to do that anymore. The village, I'm calling on you. Time to come out of hibernation. Hello. It's time for these parents to stop being these kids' friends and start being parents. Because enough is enough.
Thank you. Savannah?
Diva, most of us on this panel grew up in an era where lemonade stands and newspaper routes and the milkman bringing milk to your doorstep, those were staples of our summers and our youth. And there's an innocence that's tied to that once somebody comes in and shakes that or threatens that, you're not, your neighborhood is different. You're not the same. You don't have the same outlook on your summer, your free time anymore. The only issue I have with this story is where was the adult supervision? Where were the parents? Someone or someone older should have been there with these kids. Just because they're 11 and 12 or 10, there's so many things that could go wrong, allowing two young kids to be out, selling lemonade. And as we unfortunately see, something horrific did go wrong. Um, these kids are going to make their money back tenfold. They're going to have slush money for at least the next couple years. But I hope the parents learned a lesson that you have to watch your babies no matter what age they are, whether they're 6, 5, 4, 20. You have to know where your kids are at all times and be present. Have somebody there. They could have hired a babysitter, an older cousin, or somebody to sit with those children while they did something that's so innocent. And we all have either partaken or supported a lemonade stand. And I hope it doesn't, they continue with their lemonade stand, but I do believe um, that I hope the parents learn the lesson and have somebody out there watching their child. And thank goodness for ring cams, because now they're at least able to see the other children that were actually the aggressors and threatened these kids. So they'll be found. I have full hope that these two will be caught.
Yeah, I do too. Michelle, you on mute, babe. You on mute. Unmute yourself. Oh, there
Okay.
you go. Okay.
Um, I just couldn't imagine being 9 and 11 years old
Mm.
and nobody just throwing a gun. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
At me, and they trying to do good because they not asking their mom and dad for no money. They trying to have their own little money so they can buy their little goodies.
Mm-hmm.
And then for somebody to walk up to you and see that teenage boy, that 14-year-old one, he looked about 14 to 15. He's teaching that young one what to do.
Ooh. Mm.
He's teaching that young one, this is how you do it.
Mm.
And it's so sad because that don't even have to be his brother. That can be another little boy on the block somewhere else that live near him that the mother probably letting him run with. You know what I mean? But he teaching him wrong. And it's sad. But
Mm.
I hope those children get some counseling because I know they're going to need it because they're going to be afraid. They're going to be really afraid to come outside and do it. They probably don't want to do it no more. But I hope not. I hope they be able to do it and be successful and be happy. But we got to help our black children. It's sad because I worked in the school system. I know it's so sad. Because
Mm.
look, see, once they took that prayer out to school, you can't tap that butt. That's the problem we got. That's the problem we have. That's why they do what they doing. Because they just learning from each other. The next one, the next oldest one, and the next one. And it's sad.
Very sad. Thank you.
Yes.
Wayne, your thoughts?
Yeah, if they do catch these kids, this could be a teachable moment. Okay? If they catch them, rather than throw them into jail for the rest of their life, lock them up, throw away the key, have them at a supervised lemonade stand. Have the mom or dad, whoever it is, supply the lemonade, make some good lemonade, a supervised lemonade, and let them two boys stand out there all day long and sell that lemonade and turn that money over to them kids, to the girls who they robbed. And let them do that for some time. Like, they say give them community service, maybe every Saturday you're going to do this. And after you sat out there and sweated for several hours and you had to give this money over to somebody else, hopefully with other training, whatever else they got to do, that this will be a teachable moment for them. Okay, they didn't mention too much about the weapons or whatever, but nothing was fired. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying, don't they kind of young, don't throw them away. They did something horrible. I wouldn't want it done to my kids. But I think this would be a good punishment for them. That's it.
The problem is though they had a pow.
Yes.
And the problem is that it was fortunate that nothing went off, but he showed it. And you showing a pow to get from a lemonade stand, yo, what's next? And you know what, Michelle, you triggered me because you're right. He's showing little man what to do.
Yes.
This is wild. It's wild.
Yes.
Take thoughts.
Yeah, that was kind of shocking. I'm with everyone. And I think I'm hoping the little boy's mom, I'm hoping they get caught.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like Wayne. I do feel like, maybe not throw them in jail, but they do need some sort of consequences. Have to do some community service and learn from this. Get some counseling, mandatory counseling. Um, if they're not related, I'm hoping the mother of the smaller child yanks him away from the bigger one because, having a son, I was always told by the elders, you watch who your son hangs around because boys are very heavily influenced by their friends. And there have been some boys my son will bring around over the years. And, I would treat the little boy nice while he was there. But when he would leave, I would tell my son, that's the last time I want to see you with him. And sometimes my son will, why, Mom? Why? And I'd say, look, it's just something in my spirit. And that's going to be the last time. And that's my decision. And so I'm hoping that, the mother of the younger boy sees that and pulls him away. I'm with Wayne. I'm hoping the boys can be redeemable. I'm wondering who influenced them. Maybe the older boy was influenced, and hopefully with some mentorship and some counseling, things could get turned around. And I'm praying for the kids that had the lemonade stand because I'm sure they are in shock and they probably need a little bit of counseling too. But hopefully everybody can move past it with the right help. That's it.
Thank you, Katrina.
Yeah, Diva. You didn't rob these kids of their water, their lemons, and their sugar. And they out there making some money. You can go out there and make your own money as well. And I was, I'm quite sure the mom probably wasn't thinking that somebody will rob her kids while they selling lemonade. And in some place, you have to even get a permit now to sell lemonade because of how it's made. But I would have them in my yard. I wouldn't, at the driveway, people drive by whatsoever. But maybe she thought they could get more business wherever they was, because it looked like they was on like a busy street or whatever. But yet and still, you still had no business going up there, robbing that little child of they done lemonade money. The time it took you to go rob them or to get your pow or how you bought your pow, you could have used that to open up your lemonade stand. But you trying to come up and destroy what somebody else has built. And when the guy was talking about this, not how we're gonna do with the pow in their hands, y'all put them in these kids' hands. Y'all don't want to put them on the streets. The kids can't buy alcohol, can't buy cigarettes, but they can buy a pow at the age of 17. What's gonna kill you quicker? Unalive you quicker. It's sad. And like I said, I feel sorry for the kids that got robbed with their little lemonade money. And child, they might be so, terrified. They probably want to see another lemon. Because people handle stress and PTSD differently. Everything is not a white and black. Everything is not just like, okay, well, she can get over this, whatever. These kids probably be traumatized. It's sad that they out there robbing kids for lemonade money. It's just sad. That's all I got to do.
Yeah, in my opinion.
So I'm with Savannah, but here's the thing: it's on both sides. Where's the parents for both of these children? Okay, how in the world do you get kids that ain't even old enough to vote yet? They carrying pop-pies. And why are these babies sitting on the corner selling lemonade? Do we not know that they come STing people now? They will kidnap your kids. You leave your kids unprotected on the street corner, like they grown. And then you got these kids walking around acting like they grown with a pile in their pants. How many unalivings we done seen with kids holding a pile? No, we need to charge these parents. Negligence on these kids that was standing on the lemonade stand, and negligence on the other side for these kids with this pile because they couldn't have got it on their own. They got it from somebody's parent. And if you can't have enough common sense to put them things away in a lockbox, then you need to serve some time yourself. Maybe you'll train your kids better. Maybe you'll lock your things up. Maybe you'll keep them out of reach. We trying to save kids' lives here, not end them. It's all good and fine until somebody loses their child.
And then
we got another Metcalf on the loose.
He could have a legal one. He could have got it off the street. Miss K&J, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Choo. Yeah, he could have got that pow off the street. Listen, y'all hung in there with me for a long time tonight, and I truly appreciate y'all. It's been a night. And it's a lot of serious stories going on. All I can say is, in regard to the teen athlete, I'm standing with the athlete and the family. This person literally had their fingers, like she said, in her private area. It's not right. Kids have the right to go to school, enjoy the sport that they want to enjoy, graduate, and just go to college and live their best life. So now I'm being violated at the school, the high school. I hope she wins a whole ton of money from this whole school district. They'll learn how to get it right. The traffic stop tragedy. Texas got a problem. And they need to work on it. But I promise you this, just like we decided, way many moons ago, we decided to walk to work and not take the bus, shut the whole bus system down. They got their life together when they was no longer getting our money. They don't like you in Texas, move. I bet you they figure it out after every black and brown person move out of Texas. I bet you they figure their life out then. Every state needs our dollars because we spend money. We love to spend money, the black people. We do. We spend our money. And without our dollars, they're not going to survive. Move out of Texas. The lemonade stand, this tells you where the world is today. You got two young thugs robbing a lemonade stand. This is crazy. And Jeff Metcalf, they said when people show you who they are, believe them. Oh, I believe him. I see who he is. You can't tell me you forgive, you this, you that. It's not about race. And then everything out your mouth is racist. Miss me with the nonsense. But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all. Y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, don't cheat the diva. Do me a favor. Hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo-choo.
Choo-choo.
Choo-choo.